All right, so you know Ohtani, right? Like, you gotta love this guy.
Right.
We're gonna do a deep dive today into, like, his mind, you know. He's this legendary baseball player,
Yeah.
especially for you since you love anime and all that Japanese stuff.
Right. He's practically an anime character come to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he plays for the Dodgers now.
It's like watching a live-action sports anime every time he steps onto the field.
With the Dodgers going up against the Yankees in the World Series, this is legendary stuff.
Talk about high-stakes baseball.
We're gonna figure out how Ohtani stays so cool even when the pressure's on.
That's the real mystery, isn't it? You've got maybe the best baseball player on the planet. I mean, he's performing at a level.
And he never seems to crack.
Right. Most people would crumble under that kind of pressure.
It's like he's immune to it or something.
It's incredible.
Well, we're gonna try to unpack all of that today.
And we have a great source to help us out. A brand new article from Chelsea Janes at the Washington Post.
Yeah, it's all about Ohtani and how he handles pressure. It's so good. It's like, how can someone be this good under this much pressure?
And still looks so calm and collected.
Especially in baseball. I mean, think about it. The best players fail way more than they succeed.
Exactly. It's a game built on failure.
And so for Ohtani to just like shrug it all off, it's fascinating.
Okay, so before we really get into it, let's set the scene. Imagine Ohtani having another potential MVP season.
Yeah, leading it
It's
off
all the way to the World Series. I mean, he's hitting .286 in the postseason
with 3 home runs.
and a .934 OPS.
He's unstoppable.
And we can't forget this is all after Tommy John surgery. I mean,
It's insane.
it's like less than 14 months ago he was recovering, and now he's carrying the Dodgers on his back.
People were actually talking about him pitching in the World Series, like seriously.
That's how good he is.
It's mind-blowing. But okay, back to the pressure thing. There's this amazing story in the article. Apparently, Ohtani was so frustrated with an umpire for messing up a call that he swore at him in English.
Wow, really? I've never heard him use strong language.
I guess even our hero has his limits, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Even when he's frustrated, he doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
It's like he can contain it, you know?
The article actually quotes Dodgers catcher Austin Barnes, and he says, and I quote, "I've never seen him stressed. Frustrated maybe, but not stressed.
It's like he's got this Zen master thing going on, like a samurai warrior or something.
Calm amidst the chaos."
Now, speaking of moving with precision, have you ever really looked at Ohtani's swing?
Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
It's like this insane ballet of power.
It's all scary to watch.
I know. Like, you worry he's gonna hurt himself.
But it's also mesmerizing.
Totally.
But here's the thing. Don't let the aesthetics fool you. The Dodgers hitting coaches have actually said that, mechanically, his swing is really efficient.
Wait, seriously, it looks so wild.
It does, but somehow it all works together perfectly.
That's wild. What's even crazier? He actually models his current swing after how it felt back in July of 2023.
No way. Not even his best month, statistically speaking.
Nope. But that's when everything just clicked to a D for him. He said it felt perfect, and that's what he tries to recreate every time he's at bat.
So he's not chasing numbers, he's chasing a feeling.
It's kind of deep when you think about it.
It is. It shows this insane self-awareness and this deep understanding of his own body and mechanics.
It's like he's not just swinging a bat, he's conducting an orchestra or something. Okay, so we've got this guy who's unbelievably talented, handles pressure like a superhero, and focuses more on feeling than stats. But here's where things get really interesting. Think about other superstar players. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman.
Right, all incredible players.
But they show the pressure, you can see it on their faces. But Ohtani,
He's just gliding through it all, like it doesn't even faze him.
the article even talks about Juan Soto, you know? He used to have that same kind of joy for the game. But it feels like he's lost some of that spark after dealing with all the contract stuff and those struggles.
It makes you wonder, what's Ohtani's secret? Is it something he learned? Is it just part of who he is? Or is it like some kind of facade?
It's crazy. It's like, is there even more pressure? Because he never seems to feel it.
That's the question, isn't it? And the article actually hints at a few things. One thing that stood out to me was how Ohtani's agent actively works to keep him away from the media.
Really? Like shielding him from all the attention.
Yeah. Even when the clubhouse is open to reporters, the Dodgers staff tries to keep the media away from him.
Wow. That's pretty unusual, isn't it? For a star player.
It is. Most guys are dealing with constant media requests and fan attention.
So Ohtani's in this protected little bubble. It's like they're trying to preserve his inner peace.
Right. It's almost like a sacred space.
It's kind of cool, actually, but even with all that protection, we still get these little glimpses into his personality. The article mentions him humming along to music, celebrating with his teammates.
And apparently he's a huge Yu Darvish fan.
Oh yeah, that was in there too. He seems like such a regular guy sometimes.
It's true, and it's funny because Dodgers manager Dave Roberts has actually noticed Ohtani opening up more over the course of the season, especially after he parted ways with his interpreter.
Oh yeah, what about that whole gambling thing with his old interpreter? That was crazy.
I know, but it's like Ohtani just brushed it off, kept hitting home runs like nothing happened.
Seriously, most players would be thrown off their game completely.
Roberts thinks that maybe getting rid of the interpreter actually helped Ohtani become more comfortable around his teammates.
And maybe it was like a barrier.
Exactly.
And once it was gone, he could just be himself.
Yeah, and communicate more directly with everyone. It's really interesting to think about. It just adds another layer to this whole Ohtani mystery.
And this is why we love him, right?
Yeah.
He's like a puzzle we can't stop trying to solve.
So what does it all mean? Is Ohtani really immune to pressure? Or is he just really, really good at hiding it?
Well, Ohtani himself says this, and I quote, "It's always been my childhood dream to be able to be in an important situation, to play in important games. So I think the excitement of that is greater than anything else that I could possibly feel."
Okay, so that's beautiful. Like straight out of an anime, right? Chasing your dreams no matter what.
Totally.
Yeah.
But does it really explain everything? I mean, lots of athletes dream big, but they don't all handle pressure like this.
You're right, it doesn't tell the whole story. And that's what we're going to try to figure out today. Is Ohtani's composure a natural talent, a skill he's learned, or maybe, like you said earlier, a carefully constructed facade? It really is a fascinating mystery. And to go even deeper into this, let's think about that detail about Ohtani modeling his swing after July 2023. It wasn't even his best month statistically.
Right, but there was just something about it.
That clicked for him.
It was like, you know how in anime the hero always has that moment where they unlock a new power level? It's like that's what happened to Ohtani that month. He found his power up, and he's been chasing that feeling ever since. The article says his hitting coaches, Bates and Van Scoyoc, actually noticed this pattern early on.
Wow, really?
Yeah, whenever Ohtani wants to make an adjustment, they pull up footage of his swing from July 2023. It's like his personal blueprint for hitting success.
So it's not just about replicating the physical motions, it's about tapping into that feeling.
Exactly. It shows how deeply he understands his own body and mechanics.
It's amazing.
It's like he's not just swinging a bat, he's conducting an orchestra. But it's so crazy to watch because for us regular folks, his swing looks terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's so powerful.
So explosive. It's like you almost worry he's going to hurt himself with every swing.
I know exactly what you mean. But the Dodgers coaches say that even though it looks wild, there's actually a ton of technical precision in Ohtani's swing.
Really?
Yeah, they say his hips and shoulders work together perfectly. It's how he generates all that power.
So it's like controlled chaos.
Yeah.
He makes it look effortless, but there's so much technique behind it. It reminds me of those samurai sword masters who can slice through bamboo with one smooth movement. Okay, so we've talked about the swing, the pressure, this whole protected world Ohtani seems to live in. What about Ohtani the person?
Yeah, what can we learn about him from this article?
What's he like off the field?
Well, there are these little moments in the article that give us a glimpse behind the scenes. It talks about him humming along to music in the locker room, scrolling through social media.
It's like, oh yeah, he's human.
Right, he's not just this baseball god, he's a regular guy.
Exactly.
And then there are those moments where we see a flash of emotion, like when he swore at the umpire.
In English.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
It shows that he's not a robot, he gets frustrated just like anyone else.
Oh.
But even then, it's like this controlled burst of anger, not a total meltdown.
And everyone who knows him says he's always calm and collected, even when the stakes are high.
And think about how he dealt with that gambling scandal involving his interpreter. That could have been a huge distraction.
Oh yeah, totally.
Most players would have been thrown off their game, but he just kept hitting home runs.
It's like it never happened.
But here's something really interesting. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said that he noticed Ohtani becoming more open and expressive after he parted ways with his interpreter.
Wait, really? So maybe having someone translate for him all the time was actually kind of a barrier.
That's what Roberts seems to think.
Like once that was gone, he felt more comfortable being himself.
Yeah, maybe he felt more free to express himself.
It makes you wonder, was it always awkward having to communicate through someone else?
I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Maybe he feels like he can finally relax and be himself now.
It's definitely something to consider. And it adds another layer to this whole mystery of who Ohtani really is.
So we've got the swing, the pressure, the personality. Have we cracked the code yet? What's the secret to Ohtani's serenity?
Well, Ohtani himself said something that might give us a clue. And I quote, "It's always been my childhood dream to be able to be in an important situation, to play in important games. So I think the excitement of that is greater than anything else that I could possibly feel."
Okay, that's amazing.
Right.
It's like he's not afraid of the pressure, he's energized by it.
He's living his dream.
It reminds me of like a classic shonen protagonist,
Yeah,
you know, facing impossible odds, but never giving up on their goals.
totally. He's the hero of his own story.
So maybe that's part of it. It's not that he doesn't feel pressure, it's that he sees it as excitement.
And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. He's focused on the process, not just the outcome.
Living in the moment.
Exactly. Embracing the challenge. It's almost like a Zen approach to baseball.
It totally is. It's like he's found this state of flow where everything else fades away, and he's just completely immersed in the game.
And maybe that's why we're so drawn to him. He's not just playing baseball, he's embodying a philosophy.
It's inspiring.
It really is.
So what can we learn from all of this? Is there a way for us normal people to tap into that Ohtani energy?
Well, I think maybe it starts with finding our own July 2023.
What do you mean?
Like, what's that moment, that feeling that reminds us why we do what we do?
Oh, I see.
And how can we channel that energy, that passion, even when things get tough?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect way to lead us into our final thoughts on this deep dive into the enigma that is Shohei Ohtani. It's like we're watching this epic sports anime come to life. You know, Ohtani's like the main character, and he's going up against his ultimate rivals.
The Yankees.
Well,
All their history and their legacy.
Exactly. But there's this twist.
He's injured. He can't even use all of his powers.
It's like Goku going Super Saiyan, but he can only use one arm.
Haha, yeah. It adds this whole other layer of drama to the story.
He's already did so much
But now he has to overcome this injury.
and lead his team to victory. The pressure has to be unbelievable.
And yet he just keeps going strong. It's incredible.
It brings us back to that big question. What is it about Ohtani that lets him handle pressure so differently from everyone else?
Yeah, what's his secret?
The article doesn't give us all the answers.
But there are some clues in there.
Like, remember that quote from Ohtani? Something like, "It's always been my dream to play in these big games, so the excitement outweighs everything else."
Yeah. It's like he's not afraid of the pressure. He's actually using it to fuel him.
He's almost turning it into excitement. Kind of like when you were a kid, right? Like when you were little and you'd step up to the plate. Didn't matter if you struck out or hit a home run.
He's just so happy to be playing.
Exactly. It's that same feeling, but on a way bigger stage.
And it all connects back to what we were talking about before. Ohtani's focus on the process rather than the outcome.
Right. Being present in the moment.
Embracing the challenge. It's like a Zen master playing baseball.
Totally. He's reached this level where everything else just fades away. He's completely absorbed in the game.
Maybe that's why we're all so captivated by him.
He's not just playing, he's embodying a whole philosophy.
And it's a philosophy that I think we can all learn from, even if we're not professional athletes.
What do you mean?
It's about finding that thing that makes us feel alive, that thing that makes us passionate, and then going after it with everything we've got, embracing the pressure, the challenges, using those to help us grow.
So, as we watch Ohtani take on the Yankees in this historic World Series,
Let's look beyond the talent and the amazing things he can do on the field.
let's try to understand his mindset.
That philosophy that allows him to do so well under pressure.
Because who knows? Maybe by watching Ohtani,
By studying his approach
we can learn a little bit about ourselves too.
and figure out how to handle the pressure in our own lives a little better.
This has been a wild ride, hasn't it? We talked about his swing, his personality, his ability to stay calm under pressure.
And we even found a few life lessons along the way.
We've peeled back the layers of the onion, but I feel like there's still this core mystery to Ohtani.
You know, that we might never fully understand.
And maybe that's part of what makes him so fascinating.
He's got this incredible mix of power, grace, and mystery. We can study his moves, look at his stats, but there's still that spark.
That unexplainable something that sets him apart.
It's like he's a real-life superhero with a bat instead of a cape.
I love that. And I think it's safe to say that Shohei Ohtani is way more than just a baseball player.
He's an inspiration, a symbol of what we can accomplish when we dream big and chase our passions.
He shows us what's possible when we face challenges head on with dedication.
And who knows, maybe he'll do even more amazing things.
This World Series is already legendary, and we get to watch him play. So buckle up, everyone, because this is going to be epic. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.